Hi, I'm David, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to install MultiPlug onto a Raspberry Pi using the Raspbian OS, but it also can be used on Debian Linux. So normal process initially, you're going to write to a new SD card or USB stick depending on what you prefer. You can download the imager from the Raspberry Pi website. You can choose the OS. Because MultiPlug is the user interface, I don't need the desktop environment, so I'm going to select that one. I'm going to select the USB drive I'm using, and then I'm going to write to that. And that's just completing. And Windows is trying to format, but don't do that. And it looks like we'll have to remove the SD card or the USB from the machine and then reinsert it. We want to create a SSH file in the boot drive without any extension. So try and create a text document but remove the txt at the end of it and just type in SSH and it will warn you. Press OK. If you don't see extensions, it means you need to disable the hiding of extensions, which you'll have to Google. It's in the options. It's over here. It's in options, and you can enable them. But essentially, you want a file without any extension on it, just SSH, and that's it. And then you can inject that and insert it in the Raspberry Pi and switch it on. So once you put the SD card in the Pi and powered it up, give it about 3 or 4 minutes to settle. It is a fresh install, so there'll be a lot of setting up for it to be doing. And then next thing you need to know is its IP address. How you get that information is up to you, but I generally log into my broadband router and it lists all the devices on the network. There probably is discovery apps out there somewhere to allow you to do this functionality with a click. Next thing you'll need is a SSH client. I'm using Putty, and I know the IP address of my Raspberry Pi. The default username is Pi. The default password is Raspberry. And so you're into the command line of the Raspberry Pi. And from this point onwards, it's just following the instructions on the website, really. So go to install, go to Linux. Now there's two options to install it. First of all, you can add the repository to the Raspberry Pi, which means every time you do a update or upgrade, it pulls down the latest version and does the upgrade with all the other upgrades you do at the same time. Or you can just download the package with the command line and then run the package, but that means you're never going to get the updates. We'll do that today just to show you how to play around with MultiPlug, and then if you're more happy with it, then you can install it and have it being updated in the future. So we're literally copying this command here. Like so, and it's starting to download the package from the internet, and it's there, and we do lists. We can see it's now there, and all you now have to do is do the command to install, like so. Do yes. It is triggering off all the other updates at the same time. So now that's complete. Good practice just to do a quick restart. So sudo reboot, which will disconnect you from the Raspberry Pi. So at this point the Raspberry Pi gets restarted and the MultiPlug will start. But this is a good point where we can just show off other apps that might become helpful. The discovery apps, which allow you to find instances of MultiPlug on your network. There are 2 versions so far. There's a Windows one and a Android one. So we just install the Windows one quickly. Okay, so just default settings with this one really. So you install this on every computer you want be able to discover from. Not the MultiPlug instances, but any computer. So Android, for example, you just install it on your phone. A lot of industrial customers use Android-based PDAs, or whatever they're called these days. So that's why there's an Android version. So you can't see my start menu or the taskbar, but there's an icon, a MultiPlug icon. You just select that, and then this box pops up, and this basically lists all the MultiPlugs on your network. And if we wait, we can see, well, there's 2 instances of it. We can see the Raspberry Pi is at 2.2 like we knew it was. So if we double click that, we're now in the MultiPlug of the Raspberry Pi. So your first setup process is just setting up a super user, which you can disable in the future if you don't need it, but it just allows you to go straight into the system without any restrictions. So set that up, whatever you want to use, set it as. All the passwords behind the scenes are all encrypted, so they're not going to be seen by anyone trawling the config files. So I just put admin password save. You will be presented with this login box. So then you can enter your username and password you just created. There are multiple ways of logging in, but from the start, all the other ones are disabled. So let's just use super user. And so you're in MultiPlug, using it as an evaluation. It can be used for non-commercial processors. Only commercial reasons need a license, which we are a reseller of the license. So contact us if you need a license. So the MultiPlug, just quick overview. It's broken down into about 3 or 4 areas. You've got your apps, which can be user password constrained, or it can be just open. So you can just have a control panel that just has a read-only access, for example, and you can display it as the default app. So when you actually type in the IP address, it will display that as the app of choice. And you can see the apps by going to the apps URL. As you see, that we've got no apps running at the moment. You've got settings for the extensions, so all the extensions you list here will be listed down there. And then you've got settings of the actual MultiPlug itself. So this is like hosting, what extensions are installed, any sort of security settings are down this area here. Also being able to restart or shut down the machine, which is quite handy. Just that functionality alone sometimes. To install extensions, go to settings, extensions, add, and you'll see lots of extensions. They're all made at different times by different people. So just like an app store, some will work, some won't work, quite frankly. It really depends on your use case. For the Raspberry Pi, there is a configuration extension which there is another video you can find that shows you how to install that and just overview of that. Raspberry Pi GPIO, again, able to configure the GPIO pins. The MultiPlug itself works on a publish subscribe mentality, so extensions create events and other extensions subscribe to those events, so you can map between the events using a visual editor, essentially a web browser. MultiPlug's target audience was originally going to be equipment or devices that are historically on their own, solo, you would walk up to, you would use, and you walk away from. Well, in this IoT or Industry 4.0 era, we're needing to remote into those devices. So this is an opportunity to, in the Raspberry Pi situation, you attach your Raspberry Pi to the target device, and then the Raspberry Pi will extract the data as it sees fit, and then present a user interface for that data. Nicely breaks down the deployment of the different areas of extracting the data, manipulating the data, maybe pushing the data to the cloud, or pushing the data just to a either a local or remote browser interface. So that's kind of where the MultiPlug came from. You can sideload extensions. So for example, if that equipment is offline, it's not connected to the internet, you can sideload them. If you type in the extensions into Google, you'll probably find the download link of the package, and then you can add it there, and then sideload it there. There is a Windows tutorial video. Again, just search for that, how to install it on Windows. Areas you should look into are the Wiki, which currently just details startup, shutdown, well, what all the files do behind the scenes, but they will demonstrate how to install, how to create extensions for the MultiPlug. So keep an eye on that. We're developing it. We're using MultiPlug to develop a product, a hardware product, based upon the Raspberry Pi at the moment. So please contact us if you have any inquiries. We are developing extensions for other customers, and we're using this as the platform of choice. So I hope that highlights how to install MultiPlug on the Raspberry Pi, but also Linux generally. Of course, it's really the end bit that was the main install bit, but I thought I'd tack on the actual flashing a drive from scratch, because that means that you're at a known start. So I hope that helps. Cheers.